I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about all the things you do.
Hey fellow foodies, it's Faye from facefood.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make these cinnamon roll bites, which are absolutely perfect for your brunch parties. So essentially this is my cinnamon roll recipe. We're going to start with the buttermilk and whole milk. I basically nuked it for about 30 seconds so that it's lukewarm, and then I'm going to add in my starter. And the starter is just some water, some milk, and some flour, which we also microwaved for a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and begin to mix this, just to combine everything. Okay, and then you want to make sure, obviously, that your ingredients are at room temp. Things like the eggs, which we're adding in now, you want to make sure that they're at room temp before adding them into this lukewarm mixture. So I just gave it a whisk because with a dough hook sometimes it really doesn't do the mixing that you need it to do. So I just gave it a little whisk with the fork. But what you want to do is add the eggs in one at a time and make sure that they're fully incorporated before adding in the next one. You can see just how terrible the dough hook is at getting these eggs, but we'll make do. Now we're going to add some instant yeast. And this is going to be the leavener for our rolls. Alright, so now I'm going to lower the machine to its lowest setting, and then I'm going to add in some flour, not all of it, about 2.5 cups worth. And obviously you want to lower the machine so that you don't get a mess everywhere. Once the flour is in, you can bump it back up to like a medium speed. You will have to stop the mixer to scrape the bowl properly. The flour loves to cling onto the side. So we just want to get the sides really well, and then we'll continue mixing this. Alright, so now I added in the sugar and salt as well, and I'm going to turn it back on. And I'm just mixing it on kind of a medium-low setting. And now I'm going to begin to add my room temp unsalted butter. Make sure to use good European style butter. We want a high fat ratio in this dough. It's a nice sticky dough. I love this dough. It's never failed me, so I tend to use it a lot. Alright, so once all the butter is mixed in, I'm going to add in the rest of the flour. And just FYI, we are using both cake flour and bread flour, just to yield a better, tender, soft dough. Alright, so you can see I stopped again to scrape the bowl. You don't want to do what I did here, which kind of a little bit too high of a speed setting. But really I'm not looking to knead this with the machine. I'm kind of just looking to get it just combined, and then I'll knead it by hand. For me, that's perfect. Now onto my floured surface. I'm gonna dump the dough on there. Now this is a very sticky dough, and depending on the humidity in your kitchen, you may need more flour. So just feel free to add it. I actually needed on this day to add in about a cup more flour on top. It was just extremely sticky. It is a very sticky dough, a moist dough, and you do want it that way, but if it's just totally unworkable because of the humidity, you can feel free to add some flour in there. So I love using this dough scraper. This plastic dough scraper really helps a lot, especially when it's being very sticky like this, because the heat in your hands are only going to make things worse. So As you see, I added a bit more flour, became a little bit more workable, and I'm just going to knead it for about 5 minutes or so. And I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love working with dough. I've said it many times. It's just very, very relaxing. Alright, so now I'm kind of shaping it into a ball. And that's about as good as it's gonna get. Like I said, it is a sticky dough. We don't want to overdo it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and move it to a clean bowl that I've sprayed with cooking spray really well. I'm gonna cover it with a damp towel for about an hour. And we're gonna allow this to rise during that time. Okay, so you can see that our dough has puffed up well. It's beautifully proofed. And we're going to now dump that dough onto another floured surface. You can obviously see just how soft this dough is. It's nice and fluffy, and that's why I absolutely love it. It just always yields a very soft, fluffy dough. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of stretch it into a somewhat rectangular shape, similar to what when you're making cinnamon rolls, but this time we're just going to use our dough cutter. We're just going to cut a strip, and I'm going to just begin to roll it up. These don't have to be super exact in terms of length or anything like that. The whole point of this recipe is supposed to be pretty easy, so just cut as many strips as you can, and ball up as many as you can. I got like 45 to 50, so as long as you get around that range, you should be fine. Right, so I'm going to just continue to do this, and then we'll move on to the next step. Now, I'm not going to lie, this was supposed to be a monkey bread recipe, but despite all that I gave it, the pan, I sprayed it like crazy. It literally just wouldn't leave the pan. So, you know, you got to improvise sometimes, you got to adapt sometimes. So that's what we're doing. These are going to become cinnamon roll bites. Now, you can obviously use this recipe as well for monkey bread if you want to give that a shot, but this thing did not want to leave the pan for me, so. And I greased it with pan grease and cooking spray, and then still nothing. So if you want to give that a shot, you can do that. So what I'm doing here is I'm just mixing up my granulated sugar and my cinnamon. You see I have all the balls rolled up and ready to go. And then I have some melted unsalted butter along with some vanilla. I just put the vanilla in the butter because I forgot to put it in the dough. So I'm just giving that a mix. And now we're all prepped up and ready to go. So you can see I have my bundt pan. It's very well greased. And I'm gonna begin to start the process here of dumping the balls into the butter and then instantly taking it over to the cinnamon sugar mixture. You really don't want to like drench this in butter, you just kind of want to dump it in there for a little bit and then roll it into the cinnamon sugar. Alright, so I'm going to continue to do this until I get my first layer. And you see I have my first layer ready to go. I'm going to put some light brown sugar on top, and I'm going to continue to kind of layer it like this. Now I have all the excess butter that was left over. I'm going to just drizzle it in there, and then I'm going to put the remaining brown sugar as well on top. Okay, and now what we want to do is we want this to proof for about 20 minutes, just at room temp. You can cover it with some aluminum foil and let it just sit on the counter, and it will puff up nicely at that point. You can see just how beautiful it already looks. Definitely the look of fall. Brown sugar, cinnamon, you can't get better than that combination. Okay, so you can see it really puffs up really nicely. just after 20 minutes. It's crazy. Alright, so we're going to bake this at 425 for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to turn down the heat to 350 and bake it for remaining 25 to 30 minutes. So this is our finished product. You can see the top gets very nice golden brown, and this is where the monkey bread turns into the cinnamon roll bites. This thing was just not coming out. So you know what, it happens. I'm a human too. We all mess up. But yeah, it's still delicious, still a great party snack. The point is of the monkey bread is to make it a party snack because you can pull it apart. Same thing with these bites. I basically dumped it out of the pan as best as I could, and I kind of chopped them down into small size bites like this, and that's what we got. We got our cinnamon roll bites. I hope you guys give this a try. For the full recipe, go to facefood.com, like this video, comment below if you have any comments or questions. Give this a try. The dough is amazingly soft and tender and full of cinnamon flavor. It's amazingly fall and amazingly easy. I hope you guys give this a try, and until next time guys, I hope you have a wonderful day.
I've been reading you to figure what you're down for. I wanna figure out to make it come around. But we should quit the game and settle things right here, right now. I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about all the things you do. I wanna take you from it.